Sitting here with Niccolo Casewit. I'm Mark Maringer with ColoradoConfidential.com. Thanks for joining us, Niccolo.
Thanks.
Let me just sort of start off and get to know you a little bit better and ask, how long have you lived in Denver? What's your background in Denver?
Well, I'm a native of Colorado.
Okay.
My parents were immigrants from Germany and Italy, and they came here, my father in the 1948, and my mother later in the 50s, and they met here and lived on the west side. I was born into the house that I now live in. It's my childhood home in the Barnum neighborhood. And so I've been a native. I lived around the world, actually in Germany and also in Boston for a number of years where I studied. But I decided to come back to make a difference. And I've had my own business for about 15 years now here in Denver. Done a lot of innovative, environmentally oriented architectural projects, and been involved with planning and development and so forth. So really, Denver's my hometown, and I love Denver, and I've seen a lot of great changes, and we have a long way to go, but it's going to get great.
Okay, great. Yeah, that you just answered my second question, which is your professional background here.
Yeah. Again, I'm an architect and planner, and for the last 10 years, I've been doing a lot of community work as for free as a pro bono community effort to look at new planning ideas, to comment on infill development, and to make our streets more pleasant. And so my focus in architecture has been about mixed use. I've done a lot of different kinds of buildings, including schools. I worked on the competition of the Denver Center Library. I believe strongly in that we can improve our environment with the city's help, and we continue to see the development improving as the years go by.
Okay. So is that why what prompts you to want to be on the city council? I mean, it's kind of a shift.
We're fine. Our district is a very unusual district in that when you map it, there's about 7 different neighborhoods, and 4 out of those 7 are actually divided with other districts, and so it's very much a challenge to represent it. And I look for challenges, and that's the main thing. I'm on the record of focusing on wanting to improve Federal Boulevard as a pedestrian zone, and that's kind of like Don Quixote chasing windmills. Not at all. We've got 40,000 vehicles a day approximately zipping through there, and we have so much to offer. And there's a point, it's the same as it was when I went to Barnum Elementary School, and I was head boy in 1971. I feel that if you grow up in a community, you want to see some change, and other things you want protected. You have values, but you also have new interests, and so I feel that I'm the most qualified. And with the loss of Rosemary Rodriguez to Washington, I'm very, very proud of Rosemary and our neighborhood. She was also born in Denver, I understand, and she went to school in Denver, and she's single-handedly practically had changed the Denver charter, and to have her leave, for me, it was just a feeling that we need to have leadership there. And because we're in a time of change around development and zoning, I'm uniquely qualified as well. That's been clear.
What do you see as the qualifications for city council?
Well, we're completely rewriting the zoning code since 1995, or 55 rather. Fast Tracks is coming in through the West Corridor. Everything's about reorienting ourselves to transit other than the automobile. And that's my specialty. That's what I've been researching. That's what my thesis was on 20 years ago at CU. So the time is right for that. The time of change is here. So you need somebody in city council that you can trust, that's independent, that's modern. I'm finding myself, after talking to 2,000 people on the street like this, we're not on the street, we're actually on the Front Range, the edge of the mountains. But in speaking to people, their main concerns are unifying the neighborhood, combating graffiti, and I feel like I can be both good cop and bad cop on the graffiti. I was raised in the public schools. I know how it is. We had a lot more going for us back then. I took violin lessons. Later in high school, I was given a job to pre-wire houses with the telephone company.
Right.
And this kept me on track. I'm an architect today. My parents, in dollars, were poor. Okay. My father was a self-employed writer, journalist with a very good high school education. My mother was a physical therapist later, but became a single mother when I moved to the east side. So I know the whole city. I know how it works. I think that's an important qualification, is to have ties outside of the district that are public-minded, that are ecological, that aren't going to compete with the district's interests, but in fact complement the district's issue, so that we can get some things done. And I believe I'm really, that's the main qualification. Can you get some things done on these issues?
Okay. And you talked a little bit about the issues facing the district. What do you see as the top issues? I mean, if you can name them, but also, what do you plan to do about them?
Well, what's unusual about the district is where it lies. It's within 2 miles of downtown Denver, greater portions of it. To its full extent, it's 5-6 miles at its furthest corner. But it's always been meat and potatoes, workforce housing. We have small, affordable houses that are perfect for first-time buyers. So we have all the things aligned to us. But unfortunately, it's behind federal, and federal is like a veil. It's our front yard. And if federal isn't cleaned up, then our values, land values, all the way behind there for about 1.5 miles, for a 5 mile, it's about 7 or 8 square miles if you calculate it, our district. And we have the most children, we have the highest economic growth rate, there's positive elements in our community, they have dollars to spend, and we don't even have a Starbucks. With
Wait, there's a place in America without a Starbucks?
Yeah.
Wow. We found it.
Yeah, not that we're inviting every Starbucks at every corner. In fact, I would prefer a Common Ground or a Niccolo's Pizza or whatever we can do to have a homegrown business. But starting with federal, and we need safe crosswalks for both the very old and the very
Now, is federal a state highway? Is that
federal's a state highway, and we have a change in CDOT. We have plans on the table right now that are underfunded. We can augment those with DRCOG, transit enhancement funds. We can get specific and raise the money. We have in the Fast Tracks corridor itself, we have 4 stations through the northern end of our district that also link back into future development areas along Sloan's Lake. We need diversity in mixed use and mixed income housing, and in our case that means bringing in some moderate and some higher income elements near those transit areas, and then providing for displacement around that. So it's land use around federal mostly, but also this corridor, and then linking the neighborhood to it. Then secondly, graffiti, and that's the most complicated one.